Hello there my friends on the internet. So after 1 week of not making a video, I am back. So in this video I'll be telling you or showing you how to make an application which will convert text into speech. So without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so this application is only created using HTML, CSS and plain JavaScript. So first of all, to make this project, you will need Node.js installed. To install Node.js, you have to go to Google Chrome. So in Google Chrome, you have to type in Node.js install. Okay, so first link you will get download Node.js right here. So just click there and then install it for any of the operating system which you use. Then you have to open terminal or PowerShell. So if you have a Mac laptop, you have to open terminal, and if you have a Windows laptop, then you have to open PowerShell. And if you have a Linux laptop or a Linux based operating system, then you have to again open terminal. So then after installing that, you will have to write the node-v. So there it will show you something, the version of node which you are currently using. That shows that our installation was complete and it was successfully done. So now the next command we have to run is npm --version. So if it shows you some version like 6.14.8, which is the current version I am using, so if you also see some similar version, that means it is installed successfully and everything, each and every part of Node.js is installed in your computer, and then you are now alive. So then you have to write the npm to continue for this project. You have to write the npm i-g live server, and if you are on a Mac laptop, just prefix this with sudo. So and just press enter. It will install a dependency for you, a global dependency for you, which is live server, which is used to make a live development server to host your static file across your IP address. So the next step is to go to the folder which you want to make the project in. So cd developer folder, just write the mkdir, which means make a directory, and the name like text to speech. Okay, now you have to go inside that. So cd text to speech, cd text to speech, and then you have to open it with Visual Studio Code. So if you don't have Visual Studio Code installed, you can go to code.visualstudio.com and then download it for Mac or Windows or whichever operating system you are having. So the next step is to open it with Visual Studio Code. So just add a code and a period sign. So now it will open in Visual Studio Code. So as I press code and a dot in the terminal, it has opened in Visual Studio Code. And now the first step is to make an index.html document. So I'll just click the new file icon and write the index.html. The next step is to use the boilerplate template. So now what is this boilerplate template? You will see in a moment. Just press shift and 1 and press tab. So if you just press tab, it will open everything like this. So everything would be filled automatically. So the next step is to just delete the document title and write the title text to speech. So the next step is to, now first of all we have to design the document. So in order to design the document, we are going to use Bootstrap. We just have to open a new window, Google Chrome. So now to design our web page, we are going to use Bootstrap. So now what is this Bootstrap? Bootstrap is a front-end design framework. Now don't be petrified because it's not as tough as React or something else. So Bootstrap is a front-end design framework which is really easy to use, and it's even lightweight for our application. So we are just going to go to getbootstrap.com and just click the get started. We are going to copy the CSS link tag. So first of all, so we have to just copy that, paste it inside our head, not the head, paste it inside our document, HTML document head tags. So the next step is to now first of all design the document. So first of all we are going to make the header. So header, we have to write there, we have to provide some center tags, and inside that we'll write an h1, and inside that text to speech. Alright, so now if I just save it and open it with live server, so now to open it in live server we are going to again come back to our terminal, and in there we have to write the live server. If you have installed it with Node as I have shown you, it will open and a tab will open in your Chrome browser. So now as you can see, our title, our header title is now beautifully organized and is in a nice font and all. So this is essentially what is the work of Bootstrap. So now this is our initial design. We are going to take it further now. So the next step is to make a form. Alright, we have to make a form because we have to input the text, so we have to make a form. To make a form we have to go back to getbootstrap.com, just write the form, and in there you will find a form layout. So we can just copy this and paste it in here. So we don't need password, nor we need the check me out, nor the submit button. So we are just going to get rid of all of this. We are going to remove the form tags, so as we press any button it won't refresh, the page won't refresh. And if we just press save and go back to our web page, we have a form now. So now to make it even attractive, we are going to rename everything. So instead of email address we will write there the text. Alright, and this will change this for to text input. So now what is this text input? It is the ID of the input tag. So we can just change our input tag ID as text input, and we don't need this. Alright, now if I just save it and go back here, so now it is working very nicely. But now I need some padding here because it is looking very bad. So we have a bootstrap class as container, so div dot container. Inside that we can move everything. So now if we just save it, so now we have some padding here and there, and now it is, if I just even resize it, the padding will stay. In any of the case it would look nice because it is putting the padding up according to the width of your screen. So this is the benefit of Bootstrap, that we can do anything with it. So the next step is to make a checkbox. Why are we making a checkbox? Because we want to select the different sounds across our computer to read out whatever we have wrote. So in the docs we have to set the checkbox. Alright, so or we can just set the select. So if we just set a select, it will show something like this. So this is exactly what we want, so we can just copy it and paste it in here. So these are just some arbitrary values, and if we just go back here we have something. This is very nice. So the next step is to make a button which will be representing the speak. So to make a button in Bootstrap we have another class. So just add a button. We can give it a class. To make it colorful we give it a class. We'll give a class of btn primary. Oh, I forgot to put anything here. So we can just put the text as speak, speak. So this is very nice. We can give it another class of margin top 4 mt4. So now it will put some space between the top and the bottom layers. So now it is looking perfect. We can even change its color. We can just add the btn secondary it is now grayish color. We can just add a btn succ success. It is turned to green. This one I like the most of all, so I'll keep this one. We can put it in center using some center tag. Alright, so now it has came in center. So this is the beautiful design which we have made. And if you want to follow along with me and you are in a trouble, you can go to my GitHub and get all of the design and all things. So the next step is to, now we have to code it in JavaScript. So now we have to program it in JavaScript in such a way that it will speak for us. Let us do that. So to use JavaScript, we'll take another folder and name it as script.js, or let us say we can put it as app.js, because app seems more technical and more fancy than script.js. So yeah, we can just keep it as app.js. We can integrate our app.js in index.html by using a tag as script src is equal to ./app.js, and in this manner we can integrate or link our app.js in our index.html. So now the next step is to write the JavaScript code for our application. So in JavaScript, as we open the file, you should know JavaScript if you want to go along with me. So you should have some basic knowledge of JavaScript. So first of all, we'll make some 5 variables of the button, of the text input, and finally of the voice list which we made. We'll give it a class and do it. So const btn is equal to document.getElementById. We can put in here some id which we have put here. So in the button we have not put any id. Let us put some id. Btn speak. Alright, so we can just copy this and paste it in here. Const txt in is equal to document.gebi, that means get element by id. Let us give the text input an id of we have given an id of text input itself. So now let us put it in here. Alright, very nice. Const voice list is equal to, we can give it an id of voice list itself. So we have made a option select tag here. So in here we can just give it an id of this thing, and which means document.getElementById. So now the next step is to make another variable. So now this variable will be about the browser voice API, the browser speech API rather. So this API is just an API which is provided as by the Chrome browser to work with speeches. So to get this, we have to just add there const synth is equal to window dot window dot speech synthesis. Alright, so this is as easy as this. So the next step is to make an array of voices. So initially we'll set it to an empty array. So this array is containing nothing. With the synth variable we are calling the web speech synthesis API, and we are now ready to go. So the next step is to populate the select tag which we made with the voices in this array. So first of all we have to populate this array with the voices available in our computer. So for that we will make a function. So function populate voices. Alright, so voices is equal to synth dot get voices. Alright, so this will give the voices variable some more voices. And now the next step is to work with this. Now whatever comes inside this, we have to put it inside this voice list variable. So voice list dot inner HTML will be equal to nothing, so it is now just an empty select thing. So the next step is to now run a for loop for the number of elements in the voices array. So for that we have a variable, we have a function as for each, which requires as a callback. So we can keep it as voice. So voices dot for each voice, what we have to do is we have to create a new variable as let list item is equal to capital I am really sorry document dot create element, it would be option. So it will create a new element as option. So the next step is to put the text contents inside it. So list item dot text content is equal to voice dot name. Such an easy thing. So now the next step and the last step is to voice list dot append child list item. So now it will just add this list item in the voice list array. So the next step is to call this function. So populate voices, we don't need to store it inside a variable. So if I just save it and go back to my browser, we have nothing here. We again have those arbitrary values. So assignment to a constant variable, so this should not be const, this should be let. So now this is but empty. Why? So to have this, I have a solution. So this, we have to add this if statement at the top of the page after this populate voices function. So now if we go back here, F5, this populate voices is not defined, we have to put it small p. Now it is working. See, we get all the voices here, we get all of our voices here. So now the next step is to, as we click this speak button, it should speak whatever it is written here. So for that we have to again go into our HTML document, I mean in the JavaScript document, and add this btn in this button. We'll add an event listener of click. So btn dot add event listener click. Alright, the next thing is we'll create another variable inside that as let to speak is equal to new speech synthesis utterance, and it should be for the value which is inside the text input. So txtin dot value. Alright, so the next step is to select voice name. So let us write here let selected voice equals to voice list dot selected options, selected options 0 at the 0th index dot get attribute. So now to get this attribute, we'll write the name of the attribute which we want. So the attribute which we want is data name, right? So data name. So now to get this attribute, we have to do something inside this populate voices. So first of all, in this list item we have to put attribute. So list item dot set attribute data lang like we wrote here, voice.lang, voice.lang. And another set attribute, so we can just copy it down, data name, voice.name. Yeah, so now we have set the attributes. So the next step is to do this, just paste it here, because yeah, so voices dot for each voice, we have to, if the voice name is selected voice name, if it is same to this selected voice name variable, it will set that to speak, or else it will let it go. So the next step is to synth dot speak to speak. Alright, so now hopefully it should work. Now our application is not working great, it's working phenomenal. So hope you liked the video. I think the video is very long, so I'm very sorry for that. And please like the video, share the video, subscribe to my channel. If you didn't like the video, dislike the video and comment why you did you not like the video. So thank you very much for watching.